who's actually going to get the most out of a 55-inch outdoor TV that can handle the glare of a sunny patio, and who should keep the money in the bank? More importantly, does a 2000 nit screen and an IP55 rated shell really translate into everyday value, or is it just a flashy spec that fades when you put it on a deck? If you're on the fence because you've heard the hype but also worry about rain damage, power consumption, or the sheer cost of a weatherproof TV, stick around. I'm going to walk you through what it's like to actually set this thing up, what you'll notice after a few weeks of binge watching under the stars, and whether the price tag makes sense for an average homeowner. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First, let's talk about the core problem people face when they try to bring a regular indoor TV outside: glare and water. Most indoor panels have a peak brightness of around 300 to 500 nits, which means on a bright afternoon the picture looks washed out, and any splash of rain can spell disaster. RIXZSIW claims 2000 nits of ultra-bright output and an IP55 rating, which theoretically means it can stand direct rain and dust while still delivering a viewable picture. In my own experience, I've spent a weekend at a friend's pool house who already installed a similar outdoor set. The difference is noticeable. With the sun high, the outdoor TV still shows decent contrast, whereas the indoor unit I tested flickered and lost detail after a few minutes. That tells you the brightness claim isn't just marketing fluff, it's a practical advantage when you're watching a game at noon or streaming a movie after a midday barbecue. Now, installation is where the rubber meets the road. The TV arrives in a robust metal case that you can mount on a standard wall bracket, but you do need to think about the power source. Because it's a 55-inch panel with a 24-watt Dolby audio system built in, it pulls roughly 120,130 watts at full brightness, similar to a small desktop computer. For most homeowners, that means you'll want a dedicated outdoor outlet. If you're renting or can't run new wiring, you'll have to rely on an extension cord rated for outdoor use, which adds both cost and a little aesthetic compromise. The side-facing HDMI port, a feature the manufacturer highlights, solves the common issue of water seeping into the connection. In practice, that port stays dry even when it's raining, so you can still hook up a streaming stick or game console without worrying about water damage. Let's drill into who benefits most from this set. If you have a backyard where you host movie nights, a poolside where kids splash around, or a patio that gets daily sun, the combination of high brightness, anti-glare coating, and waterproofing is a genuine solution. The anti-glare coating, something you normally see on professional monitors, reduces reflections enough that you can still see the screen on a bright day without having to drape a shade or pull a tarp. Also, the built-in Dolby 24-watt speakers cut through the ambient noise of a grill or a distant sprinkler line. You won't need a separate soundbar to be heard. For people who want a set-and-forget entertainment hub outdoors, the WebOS 25 platform gives you voice control, a familiar app ecosystem, and quick access to Netflix, YouTube, or Disney+. You can pair it with a smart speaker or use the remote's microphone to ask for the weather, turning the TV into a multi-purpose outdoor console. On the flip side, the model isn't a universal fit. If you live in a climate that sees hard freezing temperatures, the TV specs don't mention any frost resistance. IP55 protects against water and dust, but it doesn't guarantee operation at sub-zero temperatures. A roommate in northern Minnesota warned me that outdoor units can freeze the internal circuitry if the temperature dips below -10°C for extended periods. So if your winters are harsh, you either need to store the TV when the temperature drops or accept potential early life failure. Additionally, the TV is relatively heavy due to its metal chassis, around 70 pounds, which means a single person will need help to mount it safely, and you'll need a sturdy wall or a purpose-built stand. That extra hassle isn't a deal breaker, but it's something people often overlook when they only look at the screen size. Another practical point, the brightness boost comes with higher power draw, which will show up on your electricity bill if you leave it on for long stretches. I ran a quick calculation. An extra 100 watts over a typical 4-hour evening binge equals roughly 0.4 kilowatt-hours, or about 510 cents a night depending on local rates. Not a huge amount, but it adds up if you're watching every night. If you're planning to run the TV only on weekends or for occasional gatherings, the cost stays negligible. If you intend to make it a nightly habit, you might want to compare the operational expense against a cheaper indoor TV that you could bring outside.